and then we're going to start on our backs. So just kind of find a comfy position, lying on your back here, extending those legs out nice and long. And then let's rest our hands on top of our belly here. Let's let the eyes close. And then let's just start doing a check-in with ourselves. Trying to notice what's going on, what person showed up to our yoga mat today. Notice if you have any feelings or thoughts kind of just rumbling around. And try to do all of this without an attachment to those things. Just notice that they're there and that's all the energy that you have to give them. And then let's start breathing in and out through our nose. So taking a big inhale and sending the breath to the belly area. So feeling how that stomach will expand underneath your hands. And then as you exhale out of the nose, feeling how that belly will start contracting and falling back towards the spine. And let's continue to take these full inhales like this. And complete exhales, really using the breath as an anchor to just start to come back to, if we start to focus on all of those external things that we don't need to be worried about. Just keep returning to that breath, breathing in and out of the nose. And as we're sitting here, just getting centered, let's think of our intention for today. Maybe it's just one word for you, or maybe it's like a phrase or a mantra. And then once you find that intention, just repeat it to yourself 3 times in your mind to really solidify it. And let's take another big inhale through the nose, really feeling that belly expand. And then on the exhale, drawing the right knee up into the chest, keeping the left leg nice and long, maybe grabbing onto that shin with your hands, and just gently guiding it in towards the chest, not forcing anything. And again, just using that breath as an anchor, so if you're feeling like any muscles are tight here, if you're feeling any tension, using that breath, inhaling to really create space, and then exhaling that tension out of the body. And then another inhale here. And on the exhale, drawing that right knee out towards that right armpit. So we're going to open up that right hip here. And I like to just rest my opposite hand on that other hip just to kind of help me remember to keep that hip moving towards the mat. So if that feels comfortable for you, you can do that. And then here, so keeping that right hip open, we're just going to kind of start drawing some circles. So we want to lubricate this right hip joint. So we're just going to start moving it in a circle. Noticing if there's anything that you're feeling here. We carry a lot of emotions in our hips. And let's change direction of that circle if that feels good to you. If at any time, if this movement doesn't feel okay, then you can just rest and be still with that right hip open. So just listening to the body and doing what it wants. And then let's find stillness here if you haven't already with that right hip still open. Let's take another big inhale through the nose. And then open mouth exhale, drawing that right knee all the way across the body over to the left. Coming into a supine twist here. So trying to keep the shoulders on the mat. And then just letting that right leg go as far as it can go. And then maybe your gaze goes over that right shoulder if that feels comfortable for you. Or you can just keep your gaze up towards the ceiling, whatever feels best on your neck here. And then because we're in a twist, try not to lose track of that breath. Still inhaling and sending that breath to the belly. And as you exhale, maybe you're able to just relax a little bit deeper into the pose. And then on the inhale, let's just gently unwind, drawing that right knee back into the chest one more time. Give it a nice little hug. And then we can release it next to that left leg, and then we'll switch sides. So drawing that left knee into the chest here, and we'll just hold here for a few breaths. And then another big inhale through the nose. And exhaling, let's open that left hip up, drawing that left knee towards that left armpit here. And then when you're ready, you can start making those hip rotations if that feels good to you. If you would prefer to be still, then of course take that option. And then as we're working with the hips today, we also have to pay attention to the jaw, because the jaw and the hips will mimic each other. So if the jaw is clenched and tight, we're going to hold a lot of tightness in the hip area. And change direction of that rotation if that's where you're at. And then let's find stillness one more time with that left hip open. Let's take a big inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's go into that twist. So drawing that left leg across the body, trying to keep those shoulders on our mat, and just letting that left leg fall wherever it's comfortable. And then the gaze can go to the left or up towards the ceiling. Really trying to ease any tension that you might be feeling in that spine here. Letting the breath move that out of the body. And then on the inhale, let's carefully unwind with control, drawing that left knee back in towards the chest one last time, giving it a nice little hug. And then we can let it release next to that right leg. And then let's take our arms and palms down. Let's just rest them next to our body. And then bending both knees, planting the feet into our mat. We're going to come into bridge pose here. So on the inhale, you'll push through those heels and lift the hips up. Really engaging those glutes here. Try to pretend that you have a block in between those knees and you're really trying to hug it and keep it in place. You want the knees to be in line with the hips. And then we'll slowly lower down one vertebra at a time, allowing that lower back to be the last thing to rest on the mat. And then taking a breath here. And we'll do one more. So inhaling as we're lifting up. Just coming into this gentle back bend. This helps us open the front of the body here. A gentle heart opener as well. And then slowly releasing back down again, letting that spine just kind of roll back down. Letting the sacrum or that lower back area to be the last thing to hit. And then from here, we'll just gently windshield wiper the legs a little bit, kind of wringing out that back bend. And then when you're ready, let's just go ahead and meet in an easy seated position. So you can just kind of roll yourself up. And then we'll just sit. This is called Sukhasana or crisscross applesauce. And then from here, let's just roll the shoulders up to our ears and then back down our back. We're going to do some neck releases. So let's drop that chin down to the chest. Feeling the back of the neck opening up. And then rolling that left ear over towards the left shoulder. And then on that right elbow, just kind of gently think about pulling that right elbow down slightly. And you might feel a little bit more of a stretch there. You can also take the right fingertips down to the mat if you feel like you need a little bit more. And then let's take an inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's just roll all the way over to the other side. So right ear to right shoulder. And then find the option you want to take here if you're fine with just resting here. And just gently kind of pulling that elbow down. Or you can take those left fingertips to the mat if you want something a little bit deeper. And then let's just go ahead and meet back into a neutral next, so maybe rolling through center and then lifting the head back up. And then let's find our tabletop pose. So on our hands and knees here. And we'll move through some cat-cows. So once you get here, let's drop that belly down towards the mat. Really trying to shine that heart forward, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, and inhaling here. And then exhaling into cat as you push that back up towards the ceiling. I like to really exaggerate this one because I hold a lot of tension in my back. So it feels really good to me to really push up as high as I can go. And then inhale, dropping the belly down, shining the heart forward, looking out into our cow. And exhale back into cat. Let's just move through a few more of these, just going at your own pace, matching the breath with the movement. So if you feel like you need to pause in any one of these particular positions, then go ahead and do that. It was all about listening to the body. Creating that body awareness. And let's just do one more round. Then meet me in a neutral tabletop here. And then let's let our hips sink back to our feet. We're going to come into child's pose here, or Balasana. And then just reach those fingertips towards the top of your mat. And then maybe you let your forehead drop down and make a connection with the ground here. So this is a really grounded pose. Helps you feel safe and secure. It's good if you ever feel high stress or anxiety, you can kind of just retreat here and have a little moment to yourself. And as we're here, let's just take a big inhale through the nose, and then this time I want you to send it to the back of the rib cage and see how that feels. So you're stretching out those intercostal muscles in between those ribs. And then exhaling it all out. And then another inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's walk those hands over to the right, placing the left hand on top of the right hand. So here you're going to really feel a nice stretch in that left side of the body, trying to keep that left hip kind of pulling down towards your mat. And then another inhale here. On the exhale, walk those hands through center over to the other side, this time placing the right hand on top of the left hand. Then another big inhale here. On the exhale, walk those hands back to the center. And then let's rise back up into tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under here and then shift the weight back so it's over our feet. And then we're going to lift our hips up and back into downward facing dog. So since this is our first one, you might be feeling a little tight in your legs here. So it's totally okay to bend those knees. It's okay if those heels don't meet the mat. Just honor wherever you're at today. If it feels good, you can start walking out those feet, so just kind of pedaling them back and forth. Waking up the back of the body here. And then let's walk those feet up to our hands, coming into a forward fold. So let's just try to hang and be heavy here. Maybe bending those knees. Let the head and the neck just kind of dangle. And then on the inhale, let's sweep the arms all the way up to the sky, standing. Palms are rising up towards the ceiling. Gaze goes up. And then exhale, hands come through heart center. So we'll do a few of these gentle sun salutations. So let's inhale again as those palms come up towards the sky. And then exhale, swan diving, hinging from those hips all the way back down into that forward fold. And then inhale, hands come to the shins, looking out, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Then inhale, sweep those arms all the way back up to the sky. Palms touch, looking up. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Let's do one more. Inhale all the way up to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands on shins, looking out. Exhaling and folding. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way back up to the sky again. Palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Then let's extend the arms out to the side here. So we're going to work with these fascia meridians that run through our arms. And so I'm going to turn and face you guys just so you can see a little better. So arms are out to the side. So let's take an inhale here. And then on the exhale, let's twist over to the right. Once you get there, let's draw those fingertips back. So you're going to rotate from those wrists here, drawing the fingertips back to behind you. And you'll feel a stretch for that inside of the arms. Still breathing. And then release those fingertips, coming back to center. Inhaling here, and then exhale, change sides. So over to the left this time. And then once you get there, let's draw those fingertips back behind us. And then fingertips back to neutral, coming back to center. Okay, so let's inhale again, reaching those arms up to the sky. And then exhale, folding all the way back down. Let's step back into that downward facing dog here. And then once you're there, let's inhale, lifting the right leg up to the sky. And then bringing that right leg forward to the outside of the right hand, dropping down onto that left knee. This is lizard pose. So just hanging out here, really feeling those hips opening up. If you feel like you need a little bit more, a little extra, you can play with rocking side to side and seeing how that feels. And then finding stillness. With that right foot, let's heel that right foot. Heel toe the right foot in towards the center of the mat. So now it's in between the left and the right hand. And then once you get there, let's shift the weight backwards. We're going to straighten that right leg and point those right toes up to the sky. So getting a nice little hammy stretch here. And then shifting that weight forward once more, planting those hands into the mat firmly, bring that right foot back to meet the left. And then tuck the toes under, let's lift back into that downward facing dog again. So if anyone's hamstrings are really tight, if you're here in this downward facing dog and if you feel like you need a little bit more, you can play with really tilting that tailbone up to the ceiling. It'll kind of start to lengthen those muscles and those hamstrings here. And then let's switch sides. So let's inhale, lifting the left leg up to the sky. And then exhale, left foot comes forward to the outside of that left hand, dropping down onto the right knee. Hanging out here, if you want to find a little movement with those rocks, you can do that. And then let's go ahead and heel toe that left foot in towards the center of the mat. And then shifting the weight back again, straightening that left leg, left toes go up to the ceiling. Then shifting the weight forwards, planting the hands into the mat. Left foot goes back to meet the right. And then from here, from this tabletop pose, let's just gently lower down onto our bellies here. We're going to do some seal movements. So we'll take our hands to the outside of the mat and then tent the fingers. So just the fingertips are in the ground. Palms are off the ground. And then we'll inhale as we lift the upper body up. And then exhale back down. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. And exhale back down. Okay, let's go ahead and roll ourselves over onto our backs. One last time. We're almost out of time. That was really fast. Okay, so from here, we're just going to do a little inversion. So this is legs up the wall. You can just straighten those legs up towards the wall here, up towards the ceiling. You can also practice this against a wall, or if you have a pillow or some sort of block, you can rest it underneath the lower back for a little more elevation. So here we can just rest for just a moment. This pose is excellent for circulation. I know, Beth, you're a runner, so this is really good for legs and for recovery after you go and do a hard workout. Really settling back into our breath here. Maybe finding that intention that we set. And then just because, let's get a little core in. Let's just slowly start to lower those legs down to our mat, not too quickly. Engaging that core. And then once you get there, let's find our final resting pose here, our Shavasana. So however you feel comfortable, a lot of people just like to rest on their backs. Some people like to come into a hip opener here. Palms can be up or palms can be facing down. So whatever feels best to you, let's just let those eyes close. Unclench the jaw, pull the tongue away from the teeth. Taking one last little moment to ourselves. And then let's go ahead and just gently roll over onto one side in the fetal position. One last little pause, kind of waking ourselves back up. And then when you're ready, let's just go ahead and rise back up into that easy seat, that Sukhasana. You are more than welcome to stay in Shavasana too. So if you prefer to just stay there and hang out and do your thing, that's totally fine. Okay, let's do one last, if you sat up with me, we'll do one last little breath here. We'll just inhale the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms touch. On the exhale, let's open mouth exhale and bring those hands through heart center.